Helldivers, the Ministry of Rumors and Propaganda on Super Earth, are working overtime because we have leaks. I see you guys in the comments, and you're right. Why hire a marketing company to hype up your game when leaks alone can sustain the excitement for weeks on end? That being said, there is so much new stuff to talk about. My name is Kodiak, this is Legacy Gaming, and let's dive in and break it all down. We're going to start with the Democratic Detonation warbond, which arrives on April 11th. We know this is right around the corner, but friend of the channel, Mods for Days, hooked us up with an exclusive look at some of the weapons and armor in action, and it's just too good not to share. Let's start off with the Adjudicator, which I think will be a page 1 warbond pickup. This is a marksman rifle that we've seen a few times now, but certainly draws my eye. It's automatic and semi-automatic, we know that officially from the trailer, but it's the above average damage and medium armor penetration that I'm just interested in. The 30-round magazine might just be big enough that it feels good to use, and while 6 additional magazines isn't a lot, it's definitely enough to be dangerous. I wouldn't call the gun overpowered based on the leaks, but it appears far better than the other options we have in the game, ripping apart bots with relative ease. The leaks for the R36 Eruptor really give us our first solid look at this weapon, and I warn you now, it is wildly different than anything else in the game. It's a true bolt-action rifle that fires an exploding jet propulsion round, and the impact actually has a decent AoE component. But let's be clear about what this weapon will be used for: killing elites. If you take the Eruptor, it's not going to be to clear out waves of low-tier enemies. It's going to be used to take out armored targets and higher priority enemies. How that all plays out in a full squad on the harder difficulties is going to be the true test for this weapon, and how you build around it is going to matter just as much as the weapon itself. Then there's the CB9 exploding crossbow, and man, I am glad I reserved judgment on this one, because the look provided by Mods for Days revealed a whole new side of the gun that I don't think we've had with the other leaks. It's got a slightly bigger AoE than early leaks were suggesting, and it seems capable of dealing with almost everything, from small, low-tier enemies to elites with medium armor. To me, the real selling point is actually that this thing can clear automaton bunkers, and I assume bug holes, without actually needing to shoot it directly into the vent. Just a quick shot to the side or back and boom. That is a big deal. Again, reserving judgment on this until I get to go hands-on myself, but it's better than I initially thought. Finally, there's the grenade pistol and the thermite grenade, and I lumped these two together because there's not much to talk about here. The grenade pistol does exactly what I hoped it would do: blow up bug holes and give Helldivers a new tactical option for that secondary weapon. Is it going to clear waves of enemies? No, but it has a function, and I can't wait to weave that into my own kit. Then there's the thermite grenade, and I'll admit I am not excited about this one. After watching Mod throw this at an oncoming charger to almost no effect, it simply doesn't look to achieve what I hoped it would. Will it have more practical applications once we can really test it against different enemies and sticking points? Sure, but at the onset, I'm not sold. Democratic Detonation is right around the corner. We're talking just days away, so we're not going to have to wait long to go hands-on ourselves. The official release date is April 11th, and my guess is that we'll be spending 1,000 super credits to unlock the warbond, just like we did with Cutting Edge and Steel Veterans. Let's move into some more exciting leaks, starting with a fresh look at a new support weapon, the Airburst Rocket Launcher. As the name implies, this is ideal for taking out flying enemies, which up until this point have only posed a modest threat. My thinking is that with this weapon being added to the game, there's a clear reason behind that. Right now, I can't imagine anyone ever taking this because the flying threat just isn't that big a deal. But as the leaked stratagem video alludes to, flying enemies could be coming in greater numbers. I do like that this is a tandem stratagem, but again, we haven't really seen that system work to great effect, mainly because a lot of folks rely on that backpack slot for their own needs, like a supply pack or energy shield. Still, I am interested to see how this will be folded into the current Helldivers 2 landscape when it eventually does deploy. Another new stratagem we know is coming is a new set of mines. By the look of the leaked stratagem video, these are designed to take out armored units. There's no official name on the mines that I know of, but we'll call them anti-tank mines for the time being. My only holdup here is that they do look to require multiple explosions before taking out an armored enemy like a Hulk, and that means it's going to use up a decent chunk of the deployed explosives. That might mean you only get 1, maybe 2 kills per deployment, and that just doesn't seem that viable when compared to something like the Quasar Cannon that can be used over and over again. Still, it's a different type of stratagem, so we'll have to wait and see what other factors we're not considering just from this one video alone. Speaking of adding some new firepower to your arsenal, how about new weapons? Some recent leaks suggest that at least 5 new weapons are being modeled and potentially tested at this very moment, and that could mean anything from more warbond weapons to additional primary and secondary guns that could drop at any time. We all know the team isn't shy about just dropping content, so as always, we'll have to wait and see. The first image is a bit rougher, but I'm really liking what I'm seeing with the long-barreled rifle here. This thing feels like a sci-fi equivalent of the Winchester rifle that revolutionized guns during the Western expansion period in the mid-1800s. If that's true, and it was the inspiration for this weapon, expect a high-damage, semi-automatic slug-based offering that will most likely chonk enemies. The other weapon looks like another plasma offering, which is cool, but honestly, I don't have too many thoughts on it, as there's not a whole lot that we can make from this one image alone. It certainly looks big enough to be a primary weapon, but as far as its potential gameplay implications, it's hard to say. In another image, we get one more set of 3 weapon models, a bit more designed, but also still a bit rough around the edges. In the foreground, you see a large assault rifle, and for Starship Trooper fans, you might easily recognize this as a Merida MK. Maybe it's just me, but the similarities are pretty apparent. The last 2 weapons, well, it's just too hard to say at this point. In the middle is clearly a small caliber secondary weapon that I imagine will function very much like the MP98 Knight currently in the game. The weapon in the back, which is clearly energy based, just doesn't look complete. A major new leak also suggests a system called Hellbucks is coming to the game. Now don't fear, the game isn't going all cash grab bullshitty microtransaction, as far as we know, but all signs point to some other system or currency eventually coming to Helldivers 2. My thoughts here, and hang with me for a second, is that a new form of customization is coming. Whether it's the ship, armor, or weapons, I think the team is laying the groundwork for more expansion of existing systems down the line. I don't want to speculate right now if it's cosmetic only or gameplay driven. All I know is that it'd be pretty slick to get one of these bad boys in real life. I also wanted to share a full set of new armor that is potentially coming to the game. I am really loving the look and feel of each of the new armor sets that have been leaked, and there is a few in particular that I just gravitate to. As I've said in a number of other videos, what I really want to see is more armor passives being added to the game, and this lineup of new and upcoming armor certainly looks to give them that opportunity. I'm going to reserve all judgment, not going to speculate on any of the effects at this point, but there are certainly some cool armor sets that are eventually coming down the line. Alright, we're going to pivot for the rest of the video and talk about new enemies and factions. We know this is something you guys want, and we are here to deliver, or at least deliver as far as leaks are concerned. First is the reveal of assets that we believe are setting us up for the introduction of the Hive Lord. If you played the first game, you know that these are the biggest and baddest enemies in the Terminid army, and they are already in Helldivers 2. If you play on certain Terminid maps, you've already seen their skeletons, and that's always been alluding to something in the game. It was just a matter of time before the team introduced them, and it looks like that work is happening now. When they'll actually be erupting from the ground, no one knows for certain, but oh man, I cannot wait for it to actually happen. As far as the Illuminate are concerned, I think all leaks have laid to rest their existence. We know they're coming, it's just a matter of when and where, and a new leaked video further solidifies our belief that the Illuminate are not that far off.
What you're looking at here is recently released footage from the Ministry of Defense, showing an interstellar object that seems to resemble an Illuminate void ship.
I really wish these lore bits were more purposefully injected into the game. We get a lot of these moments through drips and drabs over the monitors on the ship, but it's that one element of the game I wish the team would expand on. There's so much cool lore here to unpack, and they do it in a way that's smart, but just doesn't connect to the gameplay experience. Either way, as we've known, the Illuminate are coming. The final leak is one that certainly piqued my interest, and it's another news broadcast that reveals the automatons at some point in the near future launch a surprise attack.
In a shocking development, a massive automaton fleet has invaded Cyberstan and the surrounding systems.
We know that the Cyborgs, creators of the automatons, call Cyberstan home. So, why are their creations launching a major front on their homeworld? Is this all a ruse for a massive combined effort, or is it something else going on? Put those tinfoil hats on, Helldivers, because things are getting weirder on this front of the war. As with all leaks, we don't know if these are final assets or when they'll be deployed, but there is certainly a lot of major set pieces that could be set into motion very soon. So there you have it, a new wave of leaks to keep you hungry for more Helldivers 2. I truly can't wait for the first post-launch major content update because I think it's going to be huge. The team is going to clean up these leaks, I have no doubt about that, and we've seen what they're capable of surprising us with when the game is leaking like crazy. So imagine the excitement when something truly drops out of nowhere. It is going to be a good time. As always, if you like our Helldivers 2 content, hit that thumbs up, and if you want more videos like this in your feed, all you need to do is subscribe. My name is Kodiak, and from everyone here at Legacy Gaming, thanks for watching, and play on.